Hello and welcome back to Secret Diary. I'm your host, Ari Ayala, and I'm wearing a face mask today. And I wanted to talk about relaxing and going on your phone and being overwhelmed. I love listening to lifestyle podcasters, if you will, like those kinds of people who give you like seemingly rational advice. And I, as somebody who loves like mindfulness, kind of like creating better habits for ourselves, I'm a huge advocate for mental health and like overall fitness, health, and like well-being. But I think I use it much more loosely than some. I'm no fitness guru by any means, but I definitely took it upon myself to really care about like my well-being, my body, my mind, like over like I think it's been a little over a year and a half now, or almost 2 years. I grew up playing a lot of sports, and I did gymnastics for 7 years when I was like growing up. I was on the varsity lacrosse team at my high school, but I was never really like too aware of the ways in which these were like setting me up for success in the future, because now as like an adult I really do enjoy being active and going outside and like being away from technology and just kind of like putting my mind to something that feels like very in the moment, like what is that called? Like you get instant gratification out of it and it's just like good for you, right? Same way like venting and talking to a friend when something hard is going on. That's something I have a little bit more of a harder time doing. I think being vulnerable. During this week, I've had like such a stressful, high stress week, and I've honestly not been feeling the best. There's been definite moments throughout my week where I just like am extremely overwhelmed and I take on a lot on my plate. So I have to like give myself the grace of understanding like sometimes you're just going through a lot. You're just doing too much at once and you need to slow down. So today I take it upon myself to do nothing. And let me let this like focus on my face a little bit. There we go. To do nothing is what I did today. I did my laundry because I do my laundry like every Sunday. It's a routine, it's a ritual, it's cemented into my mind at this point, and it keeps my laundry from piling up. But other than that, that's all I did. And this is like a new thing that I'm doing. I used to lay in bed rot a lot when I was like first moved out here, and not for like the reasons, because it was more mental exhaustion than anything. And also like I didn't have structure, I didn't have a routine. I was like working, school, very dysregulated. I didn't care about like my health in that way, and I saw like the way it affected my life and the way it translated to like just this consistent feeling of overwhelm. So I think now it almost feels like triggering as like I've gotten older and as I've kind of like secured myself into a routine and a structure. When I feel myself like feeling out of whack, it's kind of like, what is going on? I thought I had this under control. And this week I just really had to let myself relax and embrace that sometimes you're doing too much. You're not letting yourself relax. You're not letting yourself like feel things. And I actually saw this amazing post on Reddit. Even though I've like been trying to stay off the internet, Reddit is like a really good place for people to give unsolicited advice and to just kind of be like authentically misled, and often in the right directions. So here I was scrolling on Reddit being like, why do I have such a hard time relaxing? Why does it feel like so difficult for me to touch grass in these moments? And for, I guess, one of two things, right? One, I'm just like consistently somebody who needs to have structure in my life, and a lot of that structure is like having something to do during certain a lot of times in my day. But the times that I've tried to schedule like relaxing have never gone well, because I don't know how to relax in a way that is like productive for me within like a busy schedule. So I think I just needed to reclaim my day. I needed to reclaim today and like tell myself we're going to do nothing. I sat in bed, I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I skipped out on the gym, because I just am exhausted. Earlier in the week I dislocated my shoulder skating, which is like really frustrating. I love skating. I've been skateboarding since August. It's like a new hobby I've picked up, and my perfectionist self is like constantly never satisfied when we go skating. Even when I land a trick, if it's like half-assed, if I don't get it in the way that I want, I'm like, I don't have this. But my beautiful, wonderful boyfriend is always encouraging me to keep on keeping on, because it is like actually very extremely difficult to start doing stuff like this. But nonetheless, I dislocated my shoulder. This is not the first time that this has happened. I'm like prone to dislocating my shoulder, but it's only been like something that's picked up in like the last year and a half. I like went swimming. Okay, wait, this is like really bothering me. I think it's just because I don't have enough light on. So maybe it's my own fault. It's like hard for the camera to focus. I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm gonna figure this out for us, because I can't go on like this. It's gonna bother me. Yeah, it was the lighting. Oop, oop. Okay, so right. Oh my gosh, my painting looks like disheveled. My room looks disheveled right now, but um, I digress. Yes, so I feel like I'm just internally hard on myself. Even when I'm trying something new, even when I'm trying something that I probably haven't done before, I just like give myself a hard time anyway, because like why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I do this thing where I tell myself like I have this like role of a perfectionist. And I think like I have to do these things like correct and right. And sometimes it's hard for me to relax, because I feel like I don't know if there's how to relax. I feel like I'm not doing it right. Um, and it's really just like this mantra that I've taught myself. So today I really let myself have it. I was like, you're gonna just sit in your thoughts. Like I turned off the screens. I like was watching Buffy, but then I was like, okay, I need to like meditate. I need to relax. After I finished my laundry, I was just like laying in bed, thinking, letting thoughts pass. Like it's truly just meditating. That's what it felt like. And I came to the realization like I don't want to go to the gym today. I don't want to do anything today. I just want to like take and soak in the past like 3 months. I think it's been like 3 months since I've had like a day where I'm like sitting in bed doing nothing. And like as I said earlier, I used to do this a lot like earlier when I moved, but I think what I also realized like when I was feeling this way today, like and how good it felt to like sit and do nothing, is that I actually used to do this all the time when I was in high school on my weekends. I had like really strict parents, so they would like not let me do have fun like twice in a row. You know, as anybody else can relate to that. I've spoken to so many people who can relate to that who had strict parents, but that's how my parents were like, you can have fun twice in a row because that costs money and time, and like, what are you doing on the streets? So a lot of it, I would just like sit in bed and rot, but not in a productive or a healthy way. It was like not good mentally, but I think letting myself do it today, letting myself do it in a way that was like, you have earned this, which is like kind of sad, because sometimes you don't need to earn it. Sometimes you just need to feel like this is what you need to give yourself. But I really felt like a part of kinship with like my old self, like my old childhood self. And I think a lot of the things that I struggle with when it comes to relaxing and it comes to like kind of letting myself calm down and not take on so much is like the sense of hyper independence and responsibility that I've put on myself since I was young. And I think as an adult, like I really want to unlearn these behaviors, and I've always made active attempts to unlearn things. So this is just like another thing I really want to actively work on within myself, because I think it just like affects my ability to connect with others. I think it affects my ability to be vulnerable in ways that somebody who doesn't have such a hard time letting themselves like have days where they're not like being productive, where they're not like at their peak, and kind of just like accepting that as part of like the human experience. And as I like have enjoyed and indulged in my time like doing nothing today, I really have had a lot of time to process these feelings and like really feel like accelerated in a way that mentally I was not before, because I wasn't able to like sit in my thoughts and discuss this without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling like, how am I ever going to get a grip on this? And I think this is why I want to like live my life in a way that is like reflective of putting myself first and putting other people in my life, like putting their well-being, their health, their like the mindset that they're in first, because life is like so grand and grandiose when it comes to like what is success to you, what equates to like you feeling like you are allowed to rest and relax. And I think it's just, again, a product of like capitalism and living in an environment where we're constantly like funneled to feel like success is equated in our like careers, how much money we make, how much we're doing. When it's like people used to just like fish, come back to the village, call it a day, feed the family, like all these like simpler ways of living that I just like want to feel consumed in again. And it's a little more difficult because I don't have like my family around me, and I feel like my family has always had this like strong sense of like you just need to relax, like you need to like just let yourself flow with the wind, but only towards me. I feel like sometimes because they see how much I do and how much I take on, and it's like this thing where it's like only the people closest to me really witness and see like how much I do, how much I take on, and they're the ones constantly telling me like you need to relax. So it's within this vulnerability that I admit you're probably right. I probably do need to relax a little bit more, and I will. I will actively try to give myself like a day out of the week where I have no responsibilities, where there's nothing else I need to do other than like my laundry. And even some days, maybe I won't even do that. But again, like I've just had so much going on this week, so that's like been a lot to juggle. I usually am like able to slow down and like think about, but I have not had time to like think. I've been on go mode for like 3 months. So today is that day, and I have Thanksgiving coming up. Sadly, I won't be seeing like my family, but I will be around the people that I care about. And I think that's, the second best thing we can do, right? But again, with like earlier in this week, I was watching like a lot of lifestyle. YouTube likes to recommend me things that I know they like can just see my niche of like enjoyment in life, and it's not the internet. It's often people encouraging us to get off the internet. And I watched this really good video about this guy saying to, put down your phone more and to go outside more and simply just like do things that take you out away from the screens in your life, as somebody who's like in school online. And I do a lot of like my work online. I also have an internship right now, which is like it's like a mixed bag of online and offline, but staring at screens like really exhausts me. I just like don't feel like I was built for this, unfortunately. Like I was not built to be like staring at a screen making it my life in that way, where it's like just like chronically online. And I used to be chronically online as a teenager, and it was just like I wasn't being productive with my life. I didn't really feel like a strong sense of identity that could be like reflected in who I was in real life. It was like just like an inflated sense of ego that like most teenagers have in high school anyway, but mine was like basically built off of being on the internet, versus like most of my peers, it was built off like feeding into like the social hierarchy of high school that I was just like unable to integrate myself into. I was just like not interested in the politics of popularity in high school. And even now, I like went to go see a good friend of mine who I used to be really good roommates with, and we're like kind of talking about this. Like, it's so weird to like be somebody who just no longer plays the social media game. I have like a private account on. I don't really post ever, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that part of my life. I don't feel the need to share those things. Most of the stuff I share is like mostly through my activism work, or if there's just like some other thing, other event I want to get people out to. If there's like a crisis, a global crisis, something I feel is like important to share, I will share it on social media. I feel like there is an advantage to having like this user interface, but again, like it's not where I post like where I'm living my life, or it's not how I communicate with my loved ones. I much prefer to do it in person. I'm just like a much more personable person that way. And it kind of feels isolating sometimes because there's just like certain things that I don't get. I don't get like internet references. I don't get like things that are going on through like Twitter or X or just like all these trends, all these like new things. Like, I guess this is more like pop media, like popular media. I just don't. I'm uninterested. I don't care about it. And I mean, I don't really meet too many people where this is like a problem, but I definitely know like it does put me in situations where I just like change the subject, talk about something I'd much rather prefer to talk about. And it's not as if I'm unfamiliar with popular media at all. I mean, I used to be like chronically online, so there's some skills that are transferable from like my old and media days. And there's some things that I do like to indulge in, like Reddit. I love going on Reddit for like the online, like just straight up shenanigans, and like it's the part about life that I enjoy the most is connecting with people. So I think for that purpose, the internet is like great, but it's just like not personable. It's more surface level. And I live in like a hugely populated city, so a lot of that part of my like social meter is filled through just like daily interactions, being outside. I work customer facing roles, so I'm constantly in front of people, but I get it for people who are just like their job doesn't sustain that kind of communication, or they're just like people who feel like socially awkward and uncomfortable, and the internet is kind of like their public space. But I don't like it. I can't stand it. I think it's really like crippling to me. It just feels like, oh, I want to get off my phone. I delete apps like every single time I need to use them. I just like have to end up deleting them because I just can't do it. It's too much. It's overwhelming. And yeah, that's just like something that I've noticed, because when I was really feeling really overwhelmed, I found myself like going on my phone more, trying to like fill the void of like, I feel so like shitty and overwhelmed right now. Let me just try to go on my phone, and it didn't work. It would only what really helped me, thank you Instagram Reels, was this video of like a beautiful nature and being like all of the like I've never had like an inside thought after I've been outside. And I was like, whoa, wait, you're right. I was like at work. I went on my break. I felt the wind on my face. I like walked the block, and I was like, I'm okay. I'm fine. Like, it's okay. I'm okay. I'll be okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. I can relax. I can calm down. And that's like when I really know, girl, you need to sit down. You need to have a day where you're doing nothing. Because the fact that I couldn't even like ground myself outside of like an intrusive like low thought, like I couldn't even get myself out of like the funk of like stress and overwhelm. And then I finally just let go of it, and I walked outside, I felt the wind on my face, and I realized like I won't let this get to me, because this is my life. This is like my enjoyment. This is like the reason that I'm here, like, is because I'm experiencing life in the way that nobody else could experience it other than me. My own like my own journey, my inner world. Why would I let external circumstances interfere with that? Like, it is it's so upsetting to think about even now. Even like there's just so many parts of like life and seasons of like of like mindset and the ways that we think about ourselves and others and the world around us, that sometimes I really just have to be like, oh, we're so adorable. Humans are like, what a such a spectacle. Sometimes I just gotta hold myself and I have to be like, I live in a house and I wear clothes and I have to go to work. Like, animals, wild animals do not live this way. Why do I have to live this way? And sometimes you just gotta like hold yourself and cradle yourself and understand like we are being forced to live in an environment that is like chronically not fit to sustain a healthy like lifestyle, a healthy mindset where you can like meet all of your needs of like comfort, support, nurturing, health, like both fitness and like mental. I shouldn't feel like I don't want to go and like move my body because I have to move my body to do things that are like helping perpetuate a cycle of oppression and putting money into the pockets of billionaires who don't care about me. But you know what I can do? Like, I can show up to work and I can be there for my coworkers, and I can be there for the person that is sadly paying for this service because they also probably trying to fill some kind of hole in the shape of systemic oppression and capitalism. And I want to be there for them when they're going through something, in the same way that I want to allow other people to be there for me when I'm going through something, because this life that we're living is unsustainable when we choose to be individualistic, when we choose to let ourselves carry on the weight of overproduction instead of just slowing down and appreciating the time we have with one another. They win. When you work like a robot, when you work day in and out, and your only passion in life is to like get the next promotion, to tackle the next big meeting, whatever it is, right? You're letting them win. I'm gonna let it focus on my face so I can say it again. You're letting them win. And I refuse to let them win. So I think, as like a social activist, as somebody who cares so profoundly about the ways in which the system impacts my community, myself, even the people that I meet nationally across like a globe of people who are suffering. And there's plenty of other people with so much money, so much opportunity, that continue to reinforce the impression of people who have been, who, given the opportunity, given the resources, given the funds, would do so much more to help, would do so much more to mitigate the loss. We're literally at a national high in a mental health crisis. Where I'm pretty sure at a national high in substance use. There's so many things going on within our environment that is because of the fact that we are not given that opportunity to enjoy our lives in any way that is like accessible. I was certainly not taught how to figure this shit out in school. And I mean, it's a common complaint. Everybody complains about this, the same kinds of complaints for generations. So I'm here to advocate for it to be different. And I will continue to advocate for it to be different. Even against people who want to say, like, that some people who are like this are like a little too, some people like to say I'm like a little too optimistic. I'm a little too hopeful. I'm a little too, I mean, I'd rather that than to be cynical and to accept the state of like the way things are. I won't accept them. Nothing good has ever changed by simply accepting your circumstances and not doing anything to change them or soothe yourself in those moments. But I will never advocate for soothing yourself through like consumerism and through playing the system and trying to be good at it and rig it, because why the hell would you want to do that? Why? You're actively perpetuating something that is continuing to harm you and others. But if you enjoy it, this is truly what you want, we'll see you on the other side, because it's definitely accelerating. There's definitely things that are going down throughout this, through the election, through the wave of the labor movement in tandem with like the screaming and pleas for Palestinian freedom. There's just so much that we're actively trying to be silenced on. And if I can be like just another voice in the void that inspires, like another voice in the void, let it be that. Please let it be that. I'd much rather that than to not say anything at all, I need to wash this off my face and continue enjoying my restful day of relaxation. I think Ferris Bueller would be incredibly proud of me. Who else is like Patrick Star? Who else can I think of who would enjoy this day with me? Who else? Let me think real good right now. I need like a good one. Winnie the Pooh would love this day with me, I think. Okay. I'm done being silly and I'm going back to just meditating in bed and enjoying this relaxing day before I have to start my week. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. And I hope, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like whatever, I have Instagram. I think it's secretdiary.socials, if I'm correct. If not, I'll put it in the description. Feel free to message me. Feel free to quite literally share this with anyone you want or with no one. I encourage you to relax. I encourage you that if you're having like overwhelming thoughts, to go outside for a second, let the wind touch your face, and let yourself breathe for a moment. Play your favorite song. Think of your favorite memory and remind yourself, like, this too shall pass. All right. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Bye.